Hello everyone, welcome to today's lecture. In today's lecture, we will see some more practice questions based on definite integrals. In the last session, we had done till question number 18. So, in today's lecture, we will start from question number 19 and I will discuss till question number 24. The images used in our slide deck are for educational purposes only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and owners of these images. If you are the owner of any of the images used in this deck and have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathi@iitk.ac.in and we shall remove the images. Question number 19 says that if fx is a continuous function for all real values of x and satisfy integration of n to n plus 1 fx dx is equal to n square by 2 for all n belongs to I, then we have to find integration of minus 3 to 5 f of mod x dx is equal to. Clear? So the hint of this question is, since fx is a continuous function, right? And we have to find integration of n to n plus 1 fx dx. It is given that integration of n to n plus 1 fx dx is equal to n square by 2 for all n belongs to integer, right? Therefore, minus 3 to 5 f mod x dx. See, it can be splitted in the form of into the functions of integers, right? Like minus 3 to minus 2 and minus 2 to minus 1, minus 1 to 0, like that. Clear? So in this way, you try to approach or split the questions on the interval of integers. And you can approach this question like that. You have 10 seconds to solve this question. After 10 seconds, we will discuss the solution. Okay, let's move to the solution part C. As you can see that minus 3 to 5 f of mod x dx is equal to basically minus 3 to 3 f mod x dx plus 3 to 5 f mod x dx, right? F mod x dx. Now, it can be written as 2 times 0 to 3 because f of mod x is basically even function, right? Therefore, 2 times 0 to 3 f of x dx plus 3 to 5 f of x dx, which is equal to 2 times 0 to 1 fx dx plus 1 to 2 fx dx plus 2 to 3 fx dx plus 3 to 4 fx dx plus 4 to 5 fx dx, right? Now, you can apply n to n plus 1 fx dx is n square by 2, right? Therefore, 2 times n is 0, so 0 square by 2. Here n is 1, so 1 square by 2, so 1 by 2. Here n is 2, so 2 square by 2, which is 2 square by 2 plus 3 to 4, n is 3, therefore 3 is squared by 2, which is 9 by 2, and here 4 to 5, which is n is 4 square by 2. So summation of all these will be equal to 35 by 2. So answer will be 35 by 2. Option B is the right choice. Option B is the right choice. Got it? Let's move to the next question. Question number 20, which says I1 is equal to integration of 0 to 1 2x 2 to the power x square dx. I2 is equal to integration of 0 to 1 2 to the power x cube dx. I3 is equal to 1 to 2 2 to the power x square dx, and I4 is equal to 1 to 2 2 to the power x cube dx. Then which option is correct? That is, you have to compare basically I1, I2, I3, and I4, right? And you have to tell that which one of the given option is correct. So see, to compare this I1, I2, I3, I4, you have to first find the values of I1, I2, I3, and I4, right? Okay, so try to find the values and try to compare, right? You have 10 seconds to solve this question. After 10 seconds, we will discuss the solution. Okay, let's move to the solution part C. Given that I1 is equal to 0 to 1, 2 to the power x cube, x to the power x square dx, and I2 is equal to 0 to 1, 2 to the power x cube dx, and I3 is equal to 0 to 1, 2 to the power x square dx, and I4 is equal to 1 to 2. I3 is equal to 1 to 2 to the power x square dx. I4 is equal to 1 to 2 to the power x cube dx. Now, since for x 0 to 1, for x 0 to 1, if x is between 0 to 1, then x cube will be less than x square, and 2 to the power x cube, therefore 2 to the power x cube will be less than 2 to the power x square. And if x is greater than 1, if x is greater than 1, then x cube is greater than x square, then 2 to the power x cube greater than 2 to the power x square. Therefore, see, if interval is from 0 to 1, then 2 to the power x cube dx, 0 to 1, 2 to the power x cube dx will be less than 0 to 1 to the power x square dx, right? Because x is here, x is from 0 to 1, and when is interval from 1 to 2, that is x is greater than 1, then integration of 1 to 2 to the power x cube dx greater than integration of 1 to 2 2 to the power x square dx, right? Therefore, see, I2 will be less than I1, I2 will be less than I1. See, this one is I2, this one is I2, this is I2, and this one is I2, I1, right? So I2 is less than I1, and this is basically I4, and this is basically I3, and I4 is greater than I3. Clear? I4 is greater than I3. Got it? So I think option is C is the right choice. I1 is greater than I2. Option C is the right choice. I1 is greater than I2. Got it? Let's move to the next question. Question number 21, which says that the value of integration 7 pi by 4 to 7 pi by 3 root over 10 square x dx is. You have to find the value of integration of 7 pi by 4 to 7 pi by 3 root over 10 square x dx is. See, root over 10 square, the hint of this question is root over 10 square dx can be easily written as mod of 10x. Mod of 10x, right? And integration from 7 pi by 4 to 7 pi by 3. And you have to see that 7 pi by 4 and 7 pi by 3, from 7 pi by 4 to 7 pi by 3 are lying in which quadrant, right? So if the values are in two quadrants, then you have to say that from 7 pi by 4 to suppose some x, 10x is negative or no, negative or positive. If 10x is negative, then you have to write minus 10 because it is mod 10x, right? Then if 10x is negative in that interval, then you have to write minus 10x dx, and if 10x is positive in any interval between 7 pi by 4 to 7 pi by 3, then you have to write 10x dx. Clear? In this way, you can easily calculate the value of this. You just have to check the quadrant in which 7 pi by 4 to interval 7 pi by 3 is lying, right? So you have 10 seconds to solve this question or think about this question. After 10 seconds, we will discuss the solution. Okay, let's move to the solution part C. I is basically 7 pi by 4 to 7 pi by 3 root over 10 square x dx. Therefore, I is equal to 7 pi by 4 to 2 pi. 7 pi by 4 to 2 pi mod 10 x dx plus 2 pi to 3 pi by 2 pi to 3 pi by 7. 2 pi to 3 pi by 7 mod 10 x dx. Now see, 7 pi by 4 to 2 pi is in which quadrant? I think it is in fourth quadrant, right? It is in fourth quadrant. Therefore, in fourth quadrant, 10x is negative. Plus 2 pi to 7 pi by 3, 2 pi to 7 pi by 3, it is in first quadrant, I think. 2 pi to 7 pi by 3 is in first quadrant. Clear? So, I think in first quadrant, 10x will be positive. Therefore, minus of log sec x, 7 pi by 4, 7 pi by 4 to 2 pi plus log sec x 2 pi to 7 pi by 3. Therefore, minus of log 2 pi minus log sec 7 pi by 4 plus log sec 7 pi by 3 minus log sec 2 pi. Therefore, it is equal to minus of log 1 minus log sec pi by 4 plus log sec pi by 3 minus 1 minus log 1, which is equal to log root 2 plus log 2, which is equal to 1 by 2 log 2 plus log 2. So answer will be 3 by 2 log 2, right? Answer will be 3 by 2 log 2. I think option B is the right choice. 3 by 2 log 2. Okay. Let's move to the next question. Question number 22, which says that integration from 0 to pi by 2 sin square x upon sin x plus cos x dx is equal to. See, the hint of this question is you can easily calculate. See, you can easily calculate integration 0 to pi by 2. See, 0 to pi by 2 f suppose this is fx, so integration of fx dx 0 to pi by 2 will be equal to integration of 0 to pi by 2 f of pi by 2 minus x dx, right? So when you will apply this theorem, you will be you'll be easily get the answer, okay? And you just need to some simplifications also, clear? So, and if you are stuck with any other method, then you might apply that, right? The one thing is that answer should be same. Answer will not be vary. Clear? You have 10 seconds to solve this question. After 10 seconds, we will discuss the solution. Okay, let's move to the solution part C. As we have I is equal to 0 to pi by 2 sin square x upon sin x plus cos x dx, and I is equal to 0 to pi by 2 sin square pi by 2 minus x, as we have discussed, upon sin pi by 2 minus x plus cos pi by 2 minus x dx. Therefore, I is equal to 0 to pi by 2 cos square x upon sin x plus cos x dx. Thus 2i is equal to 1 by root 2 0 to pi by 2 dx upon cos x minus pi by 4. Therefore, it is equal to 1 by root 2 0 to pi by 2 sec x minus pi by 4 dx. So I is equal to 1 by so 2i is equal to 1 by root 2 log sec x minus pi by 4 plus 10 x minus pi by 4, and limit is from 0 to pi by 2, right? So answer will be 1 by root 2 log sec pi by 4 plus 10 pi by 4 minus log minus sec pi by 4 plus 10 minus pi by 4, right? And after solving, you will get 1 by root 2 into log root 2 minus root 2 plus 1 minus log root 2 minus 1, and 1 by root 2 log mod root 2 plus 1 upon root 2 minus 1, which is equal to 1 by root 2 log root 2 plus 1 whole square upon 2. Now you can keep this 2, you can put this 2 on front side of the log by using logarithmic properties, which is equal to 2 by root 2 log root 2 plus 1. So, and this was equal to 2i, basically this was equal to 2i as we had calculated, right? 2i. Therefore, I will be equal to 1 by root 2 log root 2 plus 1. I will be equal to 1 by root 2 log root 2 plus 1 is the right answer. Got it? So I think option A is the right choice. 1 by root 2 log root 2 plus 1. Okay. Let's move to the next question. Question number 23, which says the value of limit n tending to infinity 1 by n 1 plus 1 by n 1 upon 1 upon n plus 1 plus 2 by n plus 2 till 3n upon 4n till 3n upon 4n. So the hint of this question is this series is for when we use series in limit of series in terms of definite integration, right? In which we had studied that we put 1 by n as dx and r by n as x. Put r by n as x and 1 by n as dx. Clear? And in this way, you will easily be solved by using definite integration method to the question of limit. This is the question of limit, but we will solve it by using by using definite integral method, right? So in this way, you can approach this question. You have 10 seconds to solve this question. After 10 seconds, we will discuss the solution. Okay, let's move to the solution part C. As we can write limit n tending to infinity 1 by n 1 upon n plus 1 plus 2 upon n plus 2 till 3n upon n plus 3. Therefore, it can be written as limit n tending to infinity summation r equal to 1 to 3n, summation r equal to 1 to 3n, 1 by n into r upon n plus r upon n plus r. So see, when you will take here, when you will take r as common in the denominator, then it will be r upon r into n by r plus 1. So r and r will cancel out. So it will become 1 upon, it will become, we have divided basically upon n. We have divided see, in the numerator and the denominator we have divided by n, right? We have divided by n. Therefore, numerator will be r by n and denominator will be 1 plus r by n. Clear? So, see, it will be integration of 0 to n, 0 to 3. Why it is 3? Because r is equal to 1 to 3n, right? 1 to 3n. So, limit is between 0 to 3 and r by n upon 1 plus r by n. Therefore, r by n is x. Therefore, x upon 1 plus x and 1 by n is dx, right? 1 by n x dx is dx. Now, see, as you can see that this becomes very easily in integral form, right? This becomes very easily integrable form. So, 0 to 3 x upon 1 plus x dx. Finally, x upon 1 plus x can be written as 1 minus 1 by x 1 plus x dx. Therefore, when you integrate this, you will get x minus ln 1 plus x 0 to 3. After you will put the limit, you will get answer as 3 minus ln 4, which is equal to 3 minus 2 ln 2, which is equal to 3 minus 2 ln 2, right? So I think option C is the right choice. 3 minus 2 ln 2. Got it? Let's move to the next question. If f and g are continuous function in 0 to 1, satisfying f of x is equal to f of a minus x and gx plus g of a minus x is equal to a, then integration of 0 to a fx into gx is equal to. So the hint of this question is you are given fx and you are given gx, right? You are given fx and you are given gx. You are given function of f, like you are given the function of fx and f of a minus x, and you are given function of gx and g of a minus x, and you have to basically find integration 0 to a. Now you can easily see that if I is between 0 to a, I is basically 0 to a fx into gx dx, then I is also 0 to 1, 0 to a f of a minus x into g of a minus x dx. Like, so you can use this approach to solve this question. Clear? Try to solve this question by applying this approach, or you can apply another approach also if you have something in mind. Okay, so you have 10 seconds to solve or think about this question. After 10 seconds, we will discuss the solution. Okay, let's move to the solution part C. I is basically 0 to a fx dx gx, fx gx dx. Then I is equal to 0 to a f of a minus x into g of a minus x dx. Therefore, I is equal to 0 to a f of x into c g of a minus x. G of a minus x is basically can be written as a minus gx. From here, g of a minus x is basically a minus gx, right? So f of x into g of a minus x can be written as a minus gx. Therefore, it is equal to a times 0 to a fx minus, when you multiply this, 0 to a fx gx dx, fx gx dx. So integration of fx gx dx is again I. Therefore, it can be written as a into 0 to a fx dx minus I. I is equal to this. So when you will put this minus I on another side, then 2i will be equal to a integration of 0 to a fx dx, right? So I will be equal to a by 2. I will be equal to a by 2 integration of 0 to a fx dx. Clear? I will be equal to a by 2 integration of 0 to a fx dx. Got it? So in this way, we have discussed a lot of different types of questions of definite integrals. Hope you understood how to apply the concepts, and hope you understood how to approach the question. Okay, and hope you liked the lecture. Okay, so thank you so much.